Hello, and thank you very much for coming on to watch this presentation on the Dolphin Alavo mirror system, the complete Washwall hygiene system. My name is Brian Ford. I'm one of the specification managers at Dolphin. Dolphin Alavo offers some well-proven, tangible solutions to long-standing washroom challenges. So whether you're a building manager or a developer, a facilities manager, an architect or an interior designer, a cleaning manager or washroom user, whatever it is, it offers the answers to a lot of long-standing challenges. So Alavo works on the concept of putting items behind the mirror. In the first instance, it saves space. We'll cover that on the next page, on the next slide. The next thing is that the water stays on the vanity, in my opinion, where the water should be. So you've got your tap, your soap, all in one place at the vanity, but then you put your hand dryer or paper towel dispenser behind the mirror. You're not moving away from the vanity. As soon as you move away from the vanity to dry your hands, it means water on the floor and water down the wall, especially if you've got a hand dryer. I think we can all relate to those horrible dirty stains down the wall underneath hand dryers unless they are thoroughly cleaned. Also, keeping the water on the vanity means that it's easier for cleaning all round, and it also reduces slip hazards. It also offers, especially if your mirrors are hinged, it offers far easier access for maintenance. I think we can all understand that accessing some of the serviceable items like thermostatic mixing valves through access panels underneath the vanity can be extremely awkward and difficult. It declutters the washroom, putting things behind the mirror. You're not having hand dryers, paper towel dispensers, fused spurs on your walls in the washrooms. And it also gives you a much crisper, cleaner design. And then from my own experience, I think it's much easier if you're in a railway station, an airport, a shopping centre, if you're carrying something, maybe a briefcase, to walk up to the vanity, wash and dry your hands, and then take your briefcase away with a dry hand and walk out of the washroom instead of carrying your briefcase with wet hands across to the hand dryer on the opposite side of the washroom. So just talking about saving space, in the picture on the left, this may be a little bit exaggerated, but I think the principles definitely do apply. That's been proven many times in the washrooms that we've worked with architects on over the years. In the washroom on the left here, you've got 4 taps going down to 2 hand dryers, and we've allowed here for floor and wall space for the hand drying. The picture on the right, the hand dryers have been put behind the mirror. The washroom has been reduced in size. Now, if you took that and said that was ladies and gents on one floor, multiplied that across a few floors, that's a huge amount of floor space saved. Washroom floor space is not lettable, so that offers a huge saving for a building owner. So, Dolphin Alavo, everything gets tucked away behind the mirror. In some cases, even the taps, which we'll come to a bit later, and you'll notice those illuminated pictograms shining through the mirror there. When you open up the mirror, everything's behind. So let's just have a look at this. It's a modular system. Each of these modules, as you see them there, come to site manufactured precisely as you see them. The only thing that's not connected is your gas strut and your mirrors, which are all pre-drilled, ready for installation when they arrive at site. So you've got your power unit on the end here, which includes an RCD, and this control box here, which includes all your lighting controls, transformers for taps, soaps, your lighting system. And then you've got these individual units here, which includes all your plumbing, the buzz bar, your hand dryer or paper towel, whatever it might be. And then you've got your soap dispenser and your taps, in this case behind the mirror, but we'll come back to that. And then you've got your soap system. And one of these soap systems, either the tank or the cartridge system, which we'll come to later, that will supply up to 8 soap dispensers. And then you've got your water connection up at the top here. So where your water connection is, you've got your filters and stop valves here that will cut off water to the whole Alavo system, or each individual tap has got its own thermostatic mixing valve and solenoid and stop valve, so you can isolate individual taps. You've got your hot water up at the top here, and then you've got your cold water. One of the beauties of having this in the units that when you open these lockable doors, and that is that as soon as you open those doors, even a cleaner or a maintenance engineer will subconsciously be checking immediately for leaks. As soon as you open that, if there was a leak, which we hardly ever have, but if there is, you immediately would see it, and any water that does leak out of this will drip down directly onto the vanity because this whole mirror system is above the vanity. One of the other things I just want to point out is this track system that runs across the top here that holds the hinges. This is a very substantial aluminium track, and these are extremely tough hinges. And in all the years that we've been doing Alavo, that track system has worked extremely well in holding the mirrors dead straight for year after year with hundreds and thousands of opening and closing. The mirrors stayed aligned, and that is why we use a top mounting hinge system instead of a side hanging system, so that the mirrors stay hanging straight year after year despite very heavy wear and tear in busy washrooms. The next thing is the lighting. You'll notice that you've got these little clusters of 4 LED lights that shine through these holes on the back of the mirror. That's what gives your LED illuminated pictograms, and you've got your light underneath, which comes as standard on the Dolphin Premium, which I'll come back to in a while, but you can also have lighting on the other sides if you want it. Over here on this your control box here, you've got all your lighting controls, which is RGB, so you can actually change the color of the light strip underneath that washes the splashback with light, and the lights through the mirror. Now that is very important, especially these lights that shine through the mirror here, that we can actually change the color of those. The reason for that being is that if you had a white light, a white LED illuminated pictogram shining through the mirror, which was opposite a white wall, you could land up with losing your visual contrast for partially sighted persons. So being able to change the color of the pictogram, which means that you can make sure it lines up with your interior design, but also gets sufficient color contrast for partially sighted persons, that's very important and meets the requirements of DDA. These units, these end units, just coming back to talking about the modular units, these come in 3 different sizes. There's power unit, and this end unit here, the water and soap unit, those come in 3 different sizes. And then the middle units here, they come in 3 different sizes, which actually determines your tap centers. And they come in 600mm, 750mm, and 900mm. So those are the 3 tap sensors that it offers you. So by using a different combination of end units and the different tap centers, we can generally get the units to be very close to the size that you require for your washroom, or whatever the recess that you wanted to fit into in your existing your refurb project, the existing recess that you've got. And then the mirrors over the top can be made bespoke to fit the recess exactly as you want it. There are different heights of mirrors. We usually use 800mm height for some superloos, or 1 meter height is very standard. Otherwise we can go up to 1200. 1 meter height is by far the most popular, and when it's 1 meter wide, when it's 1 meter height, the mirrors can be up to 1800 wide. Again, that is achieved through this very successful substantial track system. It's not just standard butt hinges that are screwed onto the top of the cabinet. It has got a proper track system that holds the mirror doors year after year. One last thing before we move on to the next slide is these hand dryers and paper towel dispensers are fully interchangeable. The beauty of this is that it actually future-proofs the building for a building owner, in that if a new tenant moves into a specific floor of your building and they want hand dryers, and maybe you've got all paper towels fitted in here, there's just 2 security screws underneath which you remove, take the paper towel out, put a hand dryer into exactly the same place, and connect, obviously tighten up the screws, and then just plug it straight in. The whole thing is plug and play. You don't need to call in an electrician to do that part of the job for you at all. So just having a look at where the taps can be mounted. Number 1 is the tap can actually go behind the mirror, which completely declutters the washroom. And what 1 or 2 shopping centres and airports have said to us about this in their choice of using the behind mirror tap is that if it's easier to clean, which certainly having everything behind the mirror certainly does make it very easy to clean, if it's easy to clean, it stays looking better for longer, which actually can increase the refurb interval. Again, your tap centers, 600, 750, 900. Then the next option is your floating tap. The floating tap is connected to the base of the unit. Again, this means that you've got a visible tap, but you don't need to have any pipe work or cable going into the wall void behind the cabinets. The next option is to have a panel mounted tap, which is very popular, especially if you've got an underslung sink or a countertop bowl, so on. But you just have 1 pipe and 1 cable coming out of the back of the tap going up into the Alavo unit and connecting into the thermostatic mixing valve. The next option and final one is obviously a counter-mounted tap. Now, if you've got a manual tap like this, and even if you do have an infrared tap, which has got a temperature adjustment lever on the side, we always recommend that the hot water supply on these kind of taps is connected into the thermostatic mixing valve in the Alavo system. This means that if somebody puts the tap right on the hottest point, it will never ever scald anybody. We feel that's a very important point, especially in office and public washrooms. So moving on, we'll just talk quickly about the soap system. The soap system in the Alavo system is a cartridge system which is well compliant. A 3.5 litre cartridge like that will give you 3.5 litre cartridge will give you 10,000 shots of soap. That cartridge there feeds into this 2 litre reservoir here, which means that when this is completely empty, when this cartridge is completely empty, and you might say your soap level is down there in the pipe, the little LED light up on the top corner of the mirror illuminates in green to tell you that the soap cartridge is now empty. But the cleaner doesn't have to worry too much, because you've still got 2 litres of soap in here, which gives you 6,500 shots of soap. And one of these systems will provide soap for up to 8 soap dispensers. We use foam soap. Foam soap washes off your hands easier, so it actually saves a little bit of water. That's actually been proven. And also, foam soap, you use less than half the amount of soap for each shot of soap. So you're using less soap, less water, and less soap means less packaging. This is a cardboard box with a very lightweight plastic bag inside that collapses as the soap reservoir empties. But because this whole system is sealed, and it's a cartridge system, it complies with the well standard. Feel free to get in contact with Dolphin to discuss that detail more. And then Dolphin Alavo comes in 2 different levels, you might say. It comes in Alavo Premium, which includes all these features. It's touch-free. It's got a pre-wired in connector trunking over here. As you're putting it up, there's a 27-pin plug in between each of these modular units, which interconnects as you're putting it up on the wall, which means that once all the units are up on the wall, you've only got one point of connection and the whole thing goes live. You've got LED backlit icons, as we discussed earlier on the surface here, which shine through those holes in the back of the mirror, and they can be obviously changed in color. You've got halo perimeter lighting. The lighting underneath on the Dolphin Premium is standard, but then you can also put it around the other sides, on the sides or on the top. You've also then got through mirror lighting, which is a vertical strip light through the mirror here, which obviously illuminates your face, especially in areas where maybe ladies want for makeup and so on. You've also got an energy saving light sensor on the mirror up on the top corner there, which means that if you've got presence detection in your washroom and it detects that nobody's in there and the lights all go off, the Alavo will also detect that and turn off all the LED lighting on the Alavo system. You've also got a refill warning light, as I've discussed. When it comes up in green, it means that the soap tank needs to be, the soap cartridge needs to be changed. That's up on the top corner, left corner there. And also if the paper towel dispenser gets down to about 2 inches of paper towel, it comes up in blue. So the cleaner never needs to open the actual mirrors to check soap and paper towel levels, because it'll automatically pop up on the mirror when it's ready to go. And then finally, you've got a cleaning mode switch, a key that you put into the end here, which turns off the soap and the taps, the soap dispensers and the taps, which means that they can clean without activating the soap and tap accidentally. So that's the Dolphin Premium, Dolphin Alavo Premium. And then we get, so that's a full picture of the whole system working there. You've got your trunking, as we said, your lights through the mirror. And then we've got the Dolphin Alavo Light. Now, this really gives you all the same benefits of having everything behind the mirror. It's still touch-free, but you lose your interconnecting trunking that runs through the middle, and you also lose your lights through the mirror. Now, does that mean that there's no pictograms? Well, there are still pictograms there, but they are back painted, and that back painting can be done in any rail color of your choice. So you obviously just need to make sure that that lines up with to give you sufficient color contrast. So moving on there, another picture of the Alavo light. Now, because you've lost your trunking that runs through the middle here, you do need to, when the power supply gets connected in, the electrician does have to loop each individual loop and power up each of these boxes on each of the modules. This particular unit doesn't include any plumbing, but you can still have the plumbing in the Alavo light. The Alavo light offers somewhere around about a 15 or 20% saving. Obviously not quite as quick to install. You lose your little refill light and your cleaner switch and your lighting through the mirror and your lighting underneath. So you do lose some of the benefits, but it does offer a 15 to 20% saving. And bear in mind that this whole system, whether it's Dolphin Alavo Premium or Dolphin Alavo Light, you do get a 10-year warranty on this system. It's a limited liability warranty. Feel free to give us a call. This is particularly interesting to building owners or developers, but the 10-year warranty does give you peace of mind on the whole system. So, Alavo user options. In one sense, when it comes to Alavo, because you're putting modular units behind a mirror, you could keep putting up mirrors. you could keep putting up modular units in a very, very, very long run. In fact, I think the maximum that we've ever designed in one particular run was 27 taps behind one long mirror. That is long. The modular units are then covered up by the mirrors, and as I said before, if your mirror is 1 meter high, you can have your mirrors 1800 wide. So you can have as many users as you like running from 2 and up, but then we can also have, okay, so these are some more options here. We can have a look at behind the mirror. So there you go to taps. This is the Kensington, the Design Museum in Kensington. This is a project in Reading. This is quite interesting. You've got a bit of a set down area. It's ideal if the ladies for makeup, or in shower areas. You might have a hair dryer in this area. And then you can also have a single user washroom, the Superloo, as it's well known as. Here you've got a 6 or 750 Superloo, and then you've got infill mirrors on either side. If you look very carefully, you can see a little green light up there on the mirror. That means that the paper towels needs to be filled up. Again, the same type of design here. Otherwise, you can have a single unit across the back wall where you've got your basin and your toilet on the back wall. Here you've got soap, water, hand dryer, and paper towel all behind one single mirror on the back wall. Works very, very well. Very compact little Superloo. And then it's even been used in accessible washrooms. Interesting concept. Then Dolphin has worked hard to develop an online configuration tool for our architects and interior designers that we work with. And it's free to use, there's no charge. Log in, you put in the name of the project, and then there's about 15 different steps on the configurator tool. You put in the size of the unit, whether it's in recess or open on either end, and how many users you want, and the height of the unit, and where do you want the taps, and do you want hand dryers or paper towel, and where do you want the lighting? Do you want the premium or the light? There's a whole lot of different options that you go through. As I say, about 15 steps. And then on the final step, you can actually tick a box that asks about BIM models or a quotation, or whether you'd like to discuss more bespoke, or whether you want to put frames around the mirror. You can discuss. There's a few 2 or 3 little boxes you can tick there for more advice, but also BIM models and a quotation. And as soon as you click go, within a few minutes, it will email you a DWG drawing. If you've requested a BIM model, that'll come through in 2 or 3 hours. And also one of the team will get in touch with you to provide you with a budget quotation on the design that you've done. Anything more bespoke, feel free to contact the Dolphin team. We're very willing to work with you to get the design of your Alavo system to exactly where you need it to be. There's a huge variety of options, and there's been many bespoke designs done. We're glad to work with you. So different heights of mirrors, 1200, 1 meter, 800. The height of the mirror is particularly important to think about, especially when you're designing very compact Superloos. Is there enough room for the mirror to open without hitting the opposite wall? Is there enough space for somebody to stand in the washroom when you open the mirror? Does the mirror need to be in 2 pieces, so there is somewhere for somebody to stand? That's an important thing when you're designing a Superloo, a self-contained washroom. Your lighting, as I said, can be all the way around or just at the bottom. You've got your behind mirror, floating, panel mounted, deck mounted taps, multiple user, single user. Feel free to discuss your design with your team, with our team. So the Alavo system gives you a complete Washwall hygiene system. It's all completely touch-free taps, touch-free soap, touch-free hand dryers. Everything's easy to access for maintenance servicing behind the mirror. It looks great, it's decluttered. You feel good using this washroom. It would encourage you to go back and use this washroom again, wouldn't it? And I think in this day and age, having a completely touch-free system, eliminating cross-contamination, I think has really grown in its importance to us over the recent days. Get in touch with the Dolphin team to discuss your requirements for the Dolphin Alavo, the complete Washwall hygiene system. Thank you.